Tell a story when you're lucky enough to have read what you're signing. When I was ready to propose to my girlfriend, I turned to a fairly well-known jewelry store for a ring. I wanted to surprise her, but I realized that she would most likely want to exchange the ring for another one, so I asked the staff in advance if I could get my $900 back. I was assured that I could. I proposed to her. My fiancé, as I expected, found another ring in another store. So I went back to that store and asked for a refund. The employee looks at me and says, "No problem, just sign this first." I look at the little I'm about to sign the piece of paper she gives me when I suddenly see on it in small print, "I confirm that this purchase is final and non-refundable." I look at the girl and ask, "Why should I sign this all of a sudden?" She put away the piece of paper, called the manager, and he transferred the full amount to my card without any questions. If anyone is interested, it was at People's Jewelers in Vancouver. I'm a musician. They wanted to put me on a label once. The contract was written in very, very broken English. The whole document was imbued with idiocy. But I was especially pleased with the following points. I have to give them my name. I have to give up the copyright to all my old songs. If they don't sell all the physical copies of my music, then I will be obliged to compensate for the losses out of my pocket. I'm sorry, we couldn't sell 12 million of your CDs. How do you think to pay? My husband and I were buying a house. My husband signed the papers right away, but I still had some business, so I was able to arrive only in the evening. I arrive and immediately start studying the loan application. Our lender sees this and says, "You know that you don't have to read all this, right? Especially since your husband has already signed." I'm like, "No, I want to make sure everything is the way I want it to be." Well, then it turns out that according to the papers, we're borrowing $250,000 at as much as 25%. Yeah, right now. She didn't sign anything and immediately left. The creditor started threatening me with a lawsuit, to which I said she replied that it was cheaper for me to sue than to pay his overheated interest. Since then, I've been the only one doing the mortgage. And this creditor, by the way, was my husband's school friend. Please tell me that you had a serious conversation with your husband. I would be furious if my husband signed such an important document without examining at least the main points. Once, when I applied for a job, it was written in the contract that I would have to work for them for at least 4 years. Otherwise, these 4 years would be counted as tuition, which I would have to pay out of my own pocket. Some time ago, we got Wi-Fi in our school. When I first tried to connect to it, I noticed that the terms of the agreement stipulated that the school would be able to take my phone and study its contents. I decided that I didn't need it, and I still don't use it. I decided to buy a connected phone for $200. The seller told me that they were already closing, and that it would be more convenient if I came to sign the papers the next day. By morning, the amount in the contract, which had been on the table all night, had miraculously changed from 200 to 300. I caught them and went to another store. My wife and I came to the dealership to arrange our first car. We were going to take it in installments because the salon had a special offer for recent university graduates, which allowed us to apply for a loan without additional interest. Their financier offered us 2 loan options, one for 3 years, the other for 5 years. While we were talking, he assured us in every possible way that both options were interest-free, so we agreed to 5 years to reduce contributions. Then the same guy gives us the papers and hurries us to sign them as soon as possible. But we're not completely dumb. We begin to read the details. And what do you think? It turns out that the 5-year loan does not fall under their share, and that under this agreement, we will have to overpay 6.5%. In my opinion, is it much more than zero? We got angry and started threatening to leave now. Then, realizing that they were going to miss out on customers, they made concessions to us and gave us a discount on the car. Damn, how many graduates come across this topic? Signing papers blindly. The guy who rented me the apartment let me move out a month before our contract expired because he already had the next tenant in mind. To do everything according to the law, all that was needed was my written consent to move out ahead of time and one piece of paper that would change the terms of the original contract. When he brought it to me to sign, I decided to study everything carefully because I was aware that the dude had recently been imprisoned for fraud. And I did the right thing because there was a condition that said that if something went wrong with the new tenant, then I would stay on the hook and continue to pay rent even though I no longer live there. When I caught him at this point, he was like, "Oh yeah, I added this part to protect myself a bit." Subscribe to the channel. There will be many stories from Reddit here.